Welcome back to Fellowship of the Swords. On today's topic, we're going to discuss curses. And can you be cursed? Can a Christian be cursed? What exactly is the effect of a curse?
Definitely. The big one is the definition of a curse.
Yes.
And you could start there because I think that every time we do these kind of things, or write or talk on the radio, we probably should define what we mean by curse 1st.
And let's talk, some of us, come from, a little bit of a religious background, and even some of the most wisest, Hindu swamis, they believe you either bless or you curse with your mouth. So either you speak good or you speak ill about someone. The same holds true for a curse.
That's true, but that's where the word curse words come from. Well, to begin with that, let me just tell you what it's not, and then you can tell our viewers what it is.
Yes.
It's not what you see on TV, the witch so much as a stereotypical kind of curse thing there. The reason I say that is because everybody expects that it's got to be some pointed hat person with a
or
a
somebody playing with Santeria or voodoo, from the islands
not
that
always
say,
that.
oh yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to put a curse on you, I'm going to wave my snake and you're going to die, or I'm going to stick my little doll.
See if you can add to the definition of this.
Yes.
If I could say a curse is just demonic effect, you think that personifies what a curse is pretty much? Demonic effect and attachment. See if you can expand upon that in your words.
Well, when you're talking about demonic effect, it's more when you hit your toe on the edge of a chair. What do you have? You have pain, instant pain. The demonic is much more subtle than that. You're not going to feel the pain right away. The pain is going to come get you. You just do not know when.
Yeah.
And that is the nature of a curse. You won't know that your neighbor, for whatever reason, is shaking his fist at you and say, I wish you'd just rot in Hades. And you don't know that your neighbor also dabbles a little bit with candles and who knows whatever else.
Yeah.
But that is the beginning of an open door. Now, if you are, shall we say, observant to your faith, if you basically live a holy life, you have nothing to worry about. If you're checking your astrology chart, however, every day, hanging out with your friends at the bar and having sex with 3 or 4 people, or maybe doing something else that is opening doorways into your life that will actually lead you into other things that are far from God, that's when you're going to notice, not today, not tomorrow, but the effects of a curse will happen.
When you say that too, the way to look at this is how much can you do, and if you're living with your father still, say a teenager, and you're not mowing the lawn and not doing anything he asks, and you're getting in trouble, he's got to bail you out of jail, and then you come to him and says, hey Dad, will you buy me a new car? I'm graduating next week.
Yes.
And you got to get in line good with the father.
Well, what you're
Before you can ask
touching
even for
upon is
protection.
another episode. It's so hard because they all just
They'll
blend together.
intertwine.
And that one's authority.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. Is a lot of people say, well, I'm non-denominational, or I am, I have my own beliefs, which is perfectly fine. That's fine. But what Ken's talking about is authority. And authority is something that was specifically set, because if we do not honor the authority of anything, what do we stand for? We can't stand on our own knowledge and our own being, because we are not sufficient unto ourselves. And I think that's the biggest thing with a curse, is that you don't realize that somebody could be cursing and you don't even know it. So coming from that angle alone, it's a good idea to make sure you live a good life.
So curses can be much bigger than, something such as your father cussing
Yes.
at you, which can have long-term effects. There's one
Yes.
famous case, we'll say it's famous because it was published, not by us, of course, and I think it was called the Satan Harvest. And the demon was asked during the exorcism,
Yes.
what was it that, brought you here? How did you come upon this person? Or whatever the question
Precisely.
is that's relevant. And his father was cursing him often as a child. Now, there's other harder hitting, so they vary. There's harder hitting ones where you cross a satanic seal on a real Satanist site,
Yes.
not the Ozzy Osbourne listening dabblers. And then a person instantly becomes ill.
And another thing too that we see sometimes is pretty rare when we deal with cults and shall we say, New Age religions,
Yeah.
such as, Santeria, Voodoo. There is some specific native religions, some African religions, that they don't have to put the curse directly on you. They plant a cursed object, either on your property, on your person, or with somebody you love, and you may not realize that you're cursed. And you don't know why things are happening.
That's a good one.
Well,
Yeah.
I've seen it, and I know you've seen it a couple of times, and that's where you call a demonologist in.
Yeah.
Say,
and-
why is this happening? What is the origin? Especially if it's a really good family.
Yeah.
And, the kids are basically good, and mom and dad, and then all of a sudden they want to get a divorce, and the kids are like doing drugs, and everything's falling apart. And you're like, okay, what happened here?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as obvious as people would like it to be. But a curse can be very nefarious and very divisive.
Yeah. And a lot of those houses that are cursed, maybe the old farmer resented he's getting put in a
Yes.
nursing home. And he cursed everybody who's ever going to move in there. You have a haunted house, and you have people being affected in the style of a curse.
Exactly.
Even though they don't consider it a curse because it wasn't done by a pointy head, pointed hat witch and a cauldron. There
Poor
was a variety
witches.
of ways to afflict someone with demonic oppression.
And an important one to remember, too, is that cursed objects
Yeah.
are usually, you don't really remove a cursed object or a curse from an object. The best that you can do is basically seal the curse with the object after blessing it, possibly burying it. Never attempt to destroy a cursed object, ever. Find a priest, a pastor, or a minister that can help you deal with it.
This is something that, the people who attacked the Warrens and John Zaffis for having their museum, this is a good point.
Yes.
You have to do a full Roman rite on the object to get it off of there.
And not because you're assuming the object is possessed. Because, see, this is something that people don't understand. That demons, because of their fallen nature, have become closer to humans in their desires and their prides. They become attached to those objects. Not where a demon can crawl in your camera and possess the camera. No. The demon likes that camera, follows the camera, and anybody that likes that camera, it is going to cause problems for.
That's another segment we're going to talk
Yes.
about is objects.
Yes,
And,
haunted objects.
So what curses can be, it's just generally anything affecting a person, place, or thing
Yes.
of a certain proximity, attachment. As soon as a demonic effect is upon it, it's a telltale sign of a curse.
Precisely.
And then there's different curses, of course, ones that make you sick, one that can try to kill you, like a demonic hit. How many times those work, I don't know. It's hard to say. Some people are usually pretty wrecked by then anyway if they actually do a self-destructive,
Precisely.
like you become cursed and you become an addict. And that's a kind of a discreet way to kill somebody, isn't it?
It's just, curses are, don't curse anyone. And please don't get involved with anybody that says, oh yeah, I put a curse on him, or I'm going to put a curse. That's because the spiritual world is like the drop of water in the ocean. You may not think you're affecting everything in it, but you are. So,
Well said. That concludes this episode about curses. If you have any
always
questions,
remember,
we're the
Satan's
real
already been
deals.
crushed. Yes, we are the real deals too. Satan's been crushed, but we still have to fight the good fight while we're here, folks. And stay tuned. We have a lot more episodes coming up for you.
See you then.
Fellowship of the Swords.